Parents, do you know where your children are working? The 6 hidden dangers for young workers. Every year, thousands of young workers suffer injuries, and some even lose their lives, due to workplace hazards that could have been prevented. In North America, workplace injuries among young workers are a significant concern. In the United States, an estimated 3.2 million non-fatal injuries to workers aged 15 to 24 were treated in hospital emergency departments between 2012 and 2018. In 2022, 419 workers under 25 died on the job, including 19 workers younger than 18. In Canada, 35 fatalities among workers younger than 25 were reported in a single year, along with 33,837 non-fatal injuries requiring time away from work. If you're a parent, you need to ask, is my child safe at work? In this video, we uncover the top 6 hidden dangers that put young workers at risk and provide real-life case studies of actual events and proven safety control measures to protect them. Stay tuned to the end for critical advice that could save a life. Number 1. Lack of proper training. In one case study in 2019, an 18-year-old fast food worker suffered severe burns when handling a deep fryer with no formal training. He was asked to clean it while it was still on, unaware of the risk. A second case study has a 17-year-old summer intern at a manufacturing plant who was tasked with operating a power press. Without proper instruction, he accidentally activated the machine while adjusting a metal sheet, crushing his hand. A third case study in this category of lack of training has a 20-year-old retail associate who was injured when lifting heavy boxes incorrectly. No one had trained her on proper lifting techniques, leading to a permanent back injury. So, what are some control measures that could have helped prevent these incidents from happening? Employers must provide comprehensive onboarding safety training, mandatory job-specific hazard training, regular safety refreshers, and mentorship programs. I found in the past while doing investigations on events like this that there is always someone that says, "Don't these people have common sense?" Well, unfortunately, common sense isn't that common. What is common sense for one person is not necessarily common sense for the next person. We all come from different backgrounds, learning various things and ways. Some of the common things some people have never experienced, so we can't take for granted that people will know. That is why we must keep things simple and continually guide people with constant reminders. The second danger on our list is unsafe equipment handling, which in the first case study we mentioned has a 20-year-old warehouse worker losing 2 fingers due to improper forklift operation. He was asked to operate it despite not having certification. Another case study has a 19-year-old construction apprentice was injured when a circular saw kicked back due to a missing safety guard. And this case study has a 21-year-old mechanic suffered an eye injury when a high-pressure hose ruptured, sending debris into his face. He had not been provided safety goggles. What are some control measures that could have prevented these incidents? Employers should enforce strict machinery training and certification, use of safety guards and emergency shutoffs, routine equipment inspections to prevent malfunctions. Hey, look at that, training again. I'm not surprised. Maybe companies should also ensure training for their leadership. Owners and supervision should not be directing people to work that do not know what they are doing. Unfortunately, those business owners don't realize this until it's too late, and they have hurt someone. Be proactive. I have owned a couple of businesses, and I understand that in a small business situation, everything falls on the owner. Well, you need to pull up your pants, take the bull by the horns, lead by example, and get yourself trained. Our website is in construction right now, but we will be offering this training online. In the meantime, all these videos we publish, even though short, have powerful knowledge and tips. The third danger that affects our young workers is exposure to hazardous chemicals. The first case study we'll point out is a 22-year-old lab technician who suffered lung damage after prolonged exposure to toxic fumes without protective gear. Another case study has a teenage janitor working part-time at a school who mixed ammonia and bleach, unknowingly creating a deadly gas. Basically, this is mustard gas. And how about this? A 24-year-old factory worker developed chemical burns from handling an industrial solvent without gloves. What could we do for control measures against exposure to hazardous chemicals? Personal protective equipment like gloves, masks, and eyewear. Proper ventilation and emergency eye wash stations. Safety data sheets training to educate workers on chemical hazards. And there it was again, training. Are we seeing a common control measure? Training. In my history of dealing with workplace incidents, I personally believe the two biggest factors for causation are rushing and ignorance. Both can be influenced by training. The fourth danger affecting young workers is slips, trips, and falls. Small thing getting overlooked. A 19-year-old retail worker suffered a concussion after slipping on an unmarked wet floor. How about this one? A 22-year-old construction laborer fell from a ladder that was not secured properly, breaking his leg. Or, a 23-year-old barista tripped over a loose power cord and suffered a head injury. It happens in every industry. What control measures can we put in place? Clear signage and hazard marking for wet or slippery areas. Proper footwear policies to prevent slips. Routine floor maintenance and inspections. It's great to have administrative controls like policies and procedures, but do your workers know them? Here's my subliminal message about training. You'll get it eventually. The fifth danger we'll refer to is workplace violence and harassment. Our first case study in this category is a 21-year-old grocery store cashier who was physically assaulted by an angry customer. And another actual event was a 19-year-old intern who was bullied by senior employees, leading to severe anxiety and resignation. I'm not sure of the complete details here, but from my experience, that senior worker was most likely insecure and felt threatened by the presence of someone they felt was better than them. Probably wasn't the first person the senior worker ever bullied. Another case study had a 22-year-old fast food worker who was threatened by a coworker over a scheduling dispute. Seriously, who raises these people? So what can we do to control these types of events? Conflict resolution and de-escalation training. Training again. Zero tolerance policies and clear reporting procedures. Security measures such as surveillance cameras and panic buttons. Make sure we have training on how to utilize these panic buttons. Number 6 on our list of dangers is being overworked and fatigued. One case study shows a 23-year-old factory worker fell asleep while operating machinery, leading to a severe hand injury. A second case study has a young restaurant worker collapsed from exhaustion after working back-to-back shifts with no break. And a third case study in this category had a 24-year-old truck driver crash after being pressured to drive overnight without sleep. So what can we do for prevention? Strict shift hour regulations to prevent excessive overtime. Mandatory rest breaks and fatigue management programs. Encouragement of open communication about workload concerns. Young workers bring energy, ambition, and fresh perspectives to the workforce, but they also need guidance, training, and protection from workplace dangers. Whether you're a parent, a supervisor, or a coworker, keeping an eye on young workers can make all the difference in preventing serious injuries or worse. Before starting any job, research the company's safety culture. Ask questions like, do they provide proper training? Do they prioritize safety over speed? Is there a clear process for reporting hazards? Employers must foster a culture that values education, mentorship, and open communication to ensure that young workers feel safe and supported. A strong safety culture protects everyone. Workplace safety is everyone's responsibility. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a safety issue at work? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help protect someone else. I'll tell you an example of my own son when he was 14. He went to work at a rural butcher shop. He told me that when he was in the cut room, he was on a stepladder, slipped and fell. He landed in the pool of blood left by the butchered animal. I don't think he was seriously hurt, but he did tell me that he didn't like working at heights because of it. So parents, when your kids are going off to work, are you checking in on them? Are you helping them make sure that they ask the correct questions about workplace safety? Something to think about. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and look out for one another.